Hey, 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 it's 11 o'clock. Right on the nose. Look at that. 11. 11.00, 11 o'clock a.m. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, my goodness. So glad you decided to come here this morning and be with us here on this beautiful Mama's Day, Mother's Day. It's quite a Sunday on Mother's Day. Most of you know my name is Reverend Don Kerr. I've met most of you here. And I'm here to welcome you to this glorious day. I heard somebody call it the Lord of all creation has given us this day to make our way and seize the day. So sounds like good advice to me for today, okay? Is there anyone visiting us for their very first time? Very first time? Oh, look over here. Now, we have a welcome packet, as we call it, and Cheryl is our practitioner Cheryl has something in that packet when you get one. Cheryl, there'll be some more right around the corner in the foyer. Oh, you got them. Okay. Right here in front, there's 7 or 8, maybe 14, 15 people right there. No. Right there. Terry's been here before. Yes. Welcome back, Terry. He was here last summer, and he's coming this summer. He makes his appearance every summer. Glad to have you here. And so in that packet, there's going to be a little form in there. After service, why don't you guys look me up, look one of our practitioners up, and bring that little form with you. We like to give you a gift, a special gift, after service. Okay. If you don't look us up, you can't get the gift. Okay, before we move into the morning music and on the announcements and get into the message of the morning, boy, we got a good message this morning, you guys. Reverend Moore Horton's really going to give us some insight. He's ready to go, too. I can see the look on his face. He's ready to roll. But before we do all this, on behalf of our ministry team and here at Woodland Chapel, we just want to honor the Blessed Mother presence that the energy that made it possible for us to be here today. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have shown up today as being who we are if it hadn't been for our mother. Well, give old Dad a few pats on the back too, but he probably had other ulterior motives. We don't know stuff like that. Okay, wait a minute. So we want to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody because as a sweet token of our appreciation for anyone who may have even played the role of mother, as well as being a real, bona fide, authentic mother, Reverend Moore and I are going to present to you something that Mother Earth has designed just for you today. So Reverend Moore and I have something right here. And Darcy,
yes.
Why don't we sing while our congregational song while we're doing that? People can stand if necessary.
All right. Well, this is just a song you're going, wait, where are the words? I didn't give them to you. We can do this. I got confidence in you. I am walking in the light. Not too fast. There you go. I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Oh, my goodness is everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Oh, my goodness is everywhere, manifesting now. Over here, over there, within, without, everywhere. Oh, you God for all of my goodness, manifesting now. You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Go, Brent. Morning. Oh, thank you. We will share that. way to start the morning, proclaiming what is.
Okay. Wow. Wasn't that fun? Anytime we can sing here at Woodland Chapel, we enjoy it, especially when we have Darcy here, Brent here. You heard him tinkle that piano when you first came in. We're just sitting, listening. Wasn't that great, huh? Okay.
By the way, Reverend Don, Brent
Yes.
just had his 66th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I really hate it. People are always like, he doesn't look that old. I always thought maybe he was your son.
You know,
He's 2 years older than me.
he's,
Just for the record.
oh, he's only 1 year older than I am. 105. Okay. You know, we want to, before we go for it, let's do some announcements real quick. Then we'll do a pray-in. So these are very important to cover. It's about next week. First off, there's a guy by the name of Reverend Don Kerr who's going to do a topic that is called Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So be there or be far. So join us today for hospitality, which is really great. We always have our hospitalities and enjoy chatting and drinking coffee and the goodies that are down there and all that good stuff. We have an idea on sharing time and talent and treasure. The gifts to our center, we always say thank you for the way you do support us in the financial ways that you do. But you know, the talent is a part of the treasure that we really, really treasure. Anybody who has an idea that they'd like to help in the hospitality, for an example, when we set up, there's things we can do in the kitchen that is kind of fun. Yeah, just check with us and we'll tell you how much fun that can be. If you feel, I don't know how to say this, but get yourself down here and give us a little hand once in a while. Sound good? Sounds good, okay. New class coming on. Reverend Moore, want to talk about that?
Oh, our new class? I wasn't even thinking
Yeah,
about the
remember
new
what
class
that's
yet.
called?
Yes.
Beyond Limits?
Yes. No, we just finished.
Oh.
No, that's right. We're doing Beyond Limits. They're all good. Anyway, we've had some great response to our classes, and you're very welcome to be part of our class. We have, I think, 4 or 5 people signed up, and so it'd be wonderful to have 2 or 3 more. It's been a great experience, as anyone who was in our last class could testify.
You bet.
I did have another announcement, though, and that is we'd like to have a garden party. Anybody like to garden?
Ooh.
Yeah. On the 27th of this month, Saturday, from 2 to 10. And if you can be here, 2 to 10? That would be difficult. Let's try 10 to 2.
Get it
Let's try
straight.
10 to 2. Okay? And that'll be good. That'll be good. We have a lot of work to do, yeah. It'll be great. And there'll probably be some food involved in it.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Reverend Moore.
Thank you.
One last thing here. I want the class done. The thing is, we have a special roving reporter who likes to, every once in a while, pick up something that works out for the day that we're going to be celebrating. Today we're celebrating Mother's Day. And so I'd like to see if that roving reporter is somewhere in the building. Her name is Shannon Preem. Oh, the press hat. You can tell by the press hat. Shannon, do you have something to help us with some information? It would be very helpful today.
Want me to do here or there?
How about right there?
Okay.
Okay.
I want to be at the high place. Well, thank you, Reverend Don and Reverend Moore. What a special day to be your special roving reporter for Mother's Day. In my investigative skills, I decided, where should I find inspiration? So I decided to look at Mother's Day cards. And I found them with my special reporting skills and a few other couple little stories. Opening a card. Your face was the first one I ever saw, and I fell in love immediately. I've been loving you ever since. To the world, you are a mother, but to me, you are the world. I love you fiercely, deeply, and forever. You are my first true love and the love I measure all others by. I love you more, plus infinity and beyond. Happy Mother's Day. Your love has been a light to me in my darkest moments. Thank you for being the person I can call at 2 p.m. and at 2 a.m. Thank you for raising me and for continuing to lift me up. Thank you for being you so that I can be me. Happy Mother's Day. Love, your favorite child. I love that one because I am the favorite child. Thanks for giving me your best genes and your best genes. I also know that mothers can give advice that lives for a lifetime. Little things that you don't know that they will remember that you will remember forever. And I found this sweet little story. It's called 2 Simple Words. On the first day of first grade, I stood by the front door with butterflies in my stomach. I voiced my biggest concern to my mother. How will I make friends? Crouching in front of me, she handed me advice that I carry to this very day. She said, be Switzerland. Be friends with everyone. Treat everyone equally and fairly. For all of my 20 years, I have lived by these words. Soon I will graduate and become a part of the real world, and on that first day, nervously facing new responsibilities, I know I will whisper 2 words to myself forever: be Switzerland. In closing, I asked my own mother for some reflections on being a mother. She also had 2 words: fear and trepidation. Fear, because Mom wasn't sure what to expect and didn't want to make mistakes in the very beginning. And trepidation, because she knew this was her most important lifetime achievement and commitment. But little did she know at the time, and all of us are learning this now, and thanks to my investigative skills, I have looked into the science. Something is happening to the brain of a mother. Have you ever heard the term mommy brain or mommy intuition, mother's intuition? Did you know that a mother's mind actually rewires itself with superpowers? It does. You'll find gobs of studies if you just Google that on the internet. Heightened instincts that protect life, like being better at hearing, anticipating danger, unconditional love, thinking of others, empathy and compassion, and that, how did you know that, Mom, that we always say? How did she figure that out? Even though, like, when you weren't supposed to be listening to the TV and you turn it off right before she walks in the door, what does she do? She puts her hand on top of the TV and notices that it's warm. Things like that. In short, moms get a shortcut to that channel we all have, one that opens up to spirit, and the knowing that we are one, that we dwell in the divine mind. So let's all be mothers today and always. Happy Mother's Day to all. Namaste. And Mamaste. Thank you.
Did you really need a press pass to get in?
Yeah.
No, I needed it to go researching
Oh.
things earlier.
That makes sense, doesn't it? So we're going to have pray in today, right now. It's time that we just settle right in and just, Cheryl Ostrander, one of our practitioners, is going to give us an invocation or a pray in right now.
Good morning. I just invite you to breathe into this moment. Breathe into this moment. And know with me there is one power in the universe, one divine power through which I live
and move and have my being. And as this is true for myself, it is certainly true for each of you here. For everyone, that power is working through and as each person. I know that there is a word or two that's going to drift into each heart that opens to the energy in this room. This is the word that we'll take with us as we move out into the world today. And as we honor the feminine energy that is being celebrated as Mother's Day today, we know this is an energy that appears differently for each, resides differently in each heart, and we honor that, however it shows up. I know that Reverend Moore's words are here for us, and we are just anticipating them with great excitement. And the music is lifting our hearts, lifting our souls, and moving us to a deeper place. So I give great thanks for this truth. I give great thanks for this event we call the service, the Sunday service. I give great thanks for each person who is here today. And with that joy and that gratitude in my heart, I simply release these words into the law, knowing they are done as spoken, and through grace so much more. And together we say, and so it is. And as so many have commented, we have an affirmation. If you join me in saying, I embrace the light and the shadows of my inner being, and I allow them to inspire and guide me to what is mine to do. I know that my oneness with Spirit reveals all I need to know about expressing Spirit in the world. I give great thanks for my balanced wholeness, and so it is.
When they told me that I was going to be singing for Mother's Day, I thought, oh, okay, there's lots of... Huh?
We have a reader today.
I'm slow.
That's
No, I'm sorry.
Roll that
Wait.
back. Yes, absolutely. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Jump right in.
We'll get up here, Shorty.
I'm coming. Hello. Okay. So today's reading is entitled, Thanks, Mom. H. Emily Cady, in her Lessons in Truth on page 18, has said, a mother's love, so infinitely tender, so unfailing, is God's love, only manifested in greater degree by the mother. And then Ernest Holmes, in his A Holmes Reader for All Seasons on page 11, has said, it is wonderful that God has so provided for us that when we first enter this world, we come through the loving protection of a mother's care, the comfort, warmth, and tenderness of a woman whose heart has been filled with an instinctive affection and a deep-seated desire to nurture and give of herself to the miracle of life. So the author for this month, before I was born, my parents were on the brink of a divorce. At that time, my father just wasn't a nice guy. He waited until he knew my mother was getting ready to put dinner on the table and then called her to say he was going to be working late, knowing she'd be frustrated. One evening, when he pulled this stunt, Her response was simply, "Okay, don't work too hard." He immediately drove home. He wanted to know what was happening. You see, my mother had been attending a weekday healing service at the Church of Religious Science, where she learned that her happiness was dependent only on herself, not on anything outside of herself. My father declared they would attend the California cult together on Sunday so he could find out what was going on. When the minister mentioned classes, my father said, "We have to take those classes." My mother replied, "We can't afford to." My father said, "We can't afford not to." Thus began their transformation. They were married for 62 years. That happiness was an inside job was just one lesson my mother imparted. She also taught me that if I didn't like someone, then there was something I didn't like about myself, and then I projected it on them so I could hate it. Science of Mind is my mother's legacy to our family and beyond. How are you grateful for your mother or someone who served in that role? And as always, an affirmation. Whatever our relationship, I honor my mother and I honor God for expressing as my mother.
I found it interesting. I find Mother's Day always interesting for me. And I have to look at it from a lot of different perspectives. I had a fabulous mother. I did. She was everything that this really challenging child needed. And she gave me my voice. She gave me my love of music. She gave me my teaching abilities. She gave me very, very wise information all my life in many, many ways, which is how this child needed to learn. She also taught me to mother. I was not to be a mother in the physical sense, but I was to mother all of my life. And I started to look at that when they told me that I was going to be speaking on this. I thought, what are the similarities in these? And the thing that came really clearly in just a few sentences is that our job, those of us who mother, which is almost all of us, is to bring something out of the dark and into the light. There are lots of ways to talk about it. I was talking to someone who's a principal. They definitely have a mothering job. We all have mothering jobs. We all have people and or things that we have mothered, taught to come from the darkness into the light, to show that light. And so when I was thinking about it, this song came to my mind. It's one of my favorite pieces, and it talks about that the sanctity of birthing and the sanctity of taking anyone, from the darkness to the light. This is called A Child is Born. Shh. Now, out of the night, soft as the dawn, into the light, this child, innocent child, soft as a fawn, this child is born. One small heart, one pair of eyes, one work of art, here in my arms, here she lies, blessed this morn a child is one small heart, one pair of eyes, one work of art here in my arms. He lies, trusting and warm, blessed this morn a child is born. A child is born.
Thank you, Darcy. Kent. Now comes the main attraction. We've been waiting for this. Our senior minister, Reverend Moore Horton, has been delivering messages from this podium for probably 50 years. Oh, wait a minute, not quite that.
Maybe not quite that.
Not quite that, but a long time. So today's going to be a good one. So hang on to your seat belts there. Don't unloosen them. Reverend Moore, let's give us the word.
Good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning and share with you this happy Mother's Day. After all, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for our mothers, for our dads too, but our mothers who bore us and the nourishing love that has supported us in so many ways. I understand there's some new folks with us today, so I might reprise a little bit from last week, but last week you spoke of the inner and the outer dimensions of life, and how bringing them into congruence makes it possible for us to express that life that we have and express it with joy and energy. Our topic today is unlearning the fear of darkness. Now, I don't know, have any of you ever been afraid of the dark? Anybody along the way? Yeah, I think so. I think quite a few. And overcoming that fear for us adults now probably looks pretty simple. We became aware that when we were worried about the monster under the bed or something hiding in the closet, and our folks looked and said, "Oh no, it's not there, you're okay." We were comforted. But there's still an area in our lives, or part of our personality, if you wish, that has brought, that where we have taken the opportunity to avoid confronting an emotional issue of some kind. We just take it and say, "Oh, this is the moment too much." We stuff it in our carry bag, if you will. We bury it in our shadow self. Now, the shadow self, what is that shadow self? The shadow self is really that collection of things that we have not successfully addressed and are usually very emotionally charged. And as we grow older, we tend to put more things in that bag. So what we're going to talk about today is bringing some of that thought, those beliefs, those troublesome issues into the light and unlearning the fear of darkness by seeing the light. There's 3 areas that I hope to explore with us this morning. One is kind of on the galactic scale, okay, and the other's on the human scale, and the other's a deep dive into a psychological wound. And that may take a little adjusting to understand that one. Before I get too deeply into the matter of our talk this morning, I'd like to thank everybody who's been part of the team that's leading our services, our wonderful meditation by Cheryl and guest this morning. It helped us tune into the depths of our feelings. Our musicians, Darcy and Brent, of course, who've lifted our spirits in song. Our platform person, Reverend Dawn, has welcomed us. And Cheryl Ostrander, our practitioner, brought our hearts into the sacredness of spirit. We recognize the feminine principles in our mothers and in others when we distributed the red carnations. Did you like your carnations? They're kind of pretty, aren't they? Our audiovisual team of Jim Nye and Aaron Cermak have helped us also as we prepared for the day. I think our hospitality host is also Cheryl Ostrander today. So let's recognize all of those and give them a little hand for what they've been bringing to us. So just what is this shadow self? It's the collection of all the beliefs and thoughts and memories that we were unable to handle at some time in our lives. They may have come to us just kind of from osmosis from our culture. The things that, everybody's poor, you're always going to have a problem. Things are going to always rise to bite you in the, all that sort of thing. These sayings that come from so many sources, some maybe from our parents and some from peers and friends. So many focus on the idea that we're not enough and we're damaged goods and we just have to grin and bear it. Life is a trial. Well, our founder, Ernest Holmes founded the science of mind and religious science and is kind of spiritual psychologist is the way I like to think of it. He's a spiritual psychologist who's examined all the great spiritual traditions in the world and found in them a thread of truth, a golden thread of truth. And that is what we teach. And here's something he wrote in his Science of Mind. We can sit in the shadow or move into the sunshine. Sitting in the shadow we may not really believe that there's any sunshine at all. But the sun would be there all the time, and all the time we're in bondage, the real freedom exists. It is there, but we must awaken to it. So unlearning our fear of the darkness that we carry within will help us awaken to the light. Last week we used an example of a shadow belief. It was resentment and how it can come up and get in the way of expressing the love in our hearts for those whom we really care for. Now, I asked last week if we wanted to do a little homework. And do you remember what it was? It was take a breath, step back from any powerful negative emotion, and just examine it a little bit. If you did that, you probably have become aware of some of the shadow material that you do carry within. Perhaps you've been able to bring that material into the light of consciousness, enough to lessen its effect in your life. Now, last week, I promised we would look more deeply into darkness and how it supports light. A key to understanding the fear of darkness is simply to understand darkness. When we understand darkness, we can see the benefit it contains. I'm going to take a little sip of water. The first thing we're going to explore this morning is the galactic side of darkness. Have you heard of dark energy or dark matter? It's kind of an interesting concept, really. Apparently, it has to do with astronomers who look at the starry sky and are able to see that certain galaxies or certain concentrations of galaxies bend light as they go by. And that's kind of curious, but it's led to a lot of thought about just what's going on in our galaxy. It doesn't seem like the amount of visible stars and visible galaxies are enough to explain how these light shifts have occurred. Well, in the early 1990s, the one thing that people in the scientific field were fairly certain about was that the expansion of the universe had to slow because gravity would pull it all together. Well, then came the Hubble telescope in 1998, and very distant supernovae showed us that a long time ago, the universe was actually expanding slower than it is today. So the expansion of the universe has not been slowing due to gravity. Everybody thought it's been accelerating. No one expected this, but it's a great mystery. It truly is. It truly is. There are at least 3 competing theories to explain the phenomenon. The details are beyond us this morning. But if you're really interested in dark matter, you could always Google it. And I found that the NASA website is particularly intriguing. Now, most of the theories here involve the idea that things are moving a little faster now. And that raises some questions. I don't know if you can see. Can you kind of see this little diagram? We are in the present moment, looking back through time as we look at all these stars from the galaxy, because the light takes so long to get to us. And in the early part, the expansion was slow, and it's been expanding, and whether it will expand all the way out into the, I guess, never stopness or infinity, we really don't know. Yes, we don't know. Now, this is a mystery of darkness. It turns out that roughly 60% of the universe is dark energy. Dark matter makes up about 27%. The rest, everything on Earth, everything we observe, all the instruments, all the normal matter adds up to less than 5% of the universe. So the conclusion I reach is that unseen energy and unseen matter somehow support what we do see. Darkness and light are intimate partners in the universal dance of the skies. I was wondering if it's going to go on forever or not. Maybe so, maybe not. Perhaps as our scientists figure that one out or begin to penetrate the mystery a little more deeply, we'll get a better pointer toward the infinity of life's givingness and Spirit's power. It may hasten the day when religion and science march hand in hand toward the infinite. Remember how last week we looked at the electromagnetic spectrum and saw that the visible spectrum was such a small part? There were X-rays and gamma rays down here and had radio waves and ultraviolet up here. Yet somehow our humanness has found ways to use those X-rays, to use those radio waves, to make them useful. Well, just think, what would be the possibilities if we could use this dark matter? We're just beginning to understand it. Let's turn our attention away from the stars to the human plane. Our unlearning of fear is really the process of finding the light. This is important because it allows us to be fully present as who we are by experiencing all parts of ourselves, both the light and the dark. Then we can bring our whole selves into relationships with others, into the world and life itself. We become the light that we set on a light stand for all to see, including ourselves. I'm reminded of that lead line from a song, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." Ever heard that one? Sounds of silence. As we've seen, as we just glanced at the stars and the galaxies, light and dark coexist and cradle each other in support. They're related. There isn't one without the other. Now, this is quite similar to what happens on the human plane. As we understand the benefits of darkness, we can begin to find the light we have hidden within ourselves. So what do we do to unlearn this fear of darkness? Well, we can look at darkness the way our beautiful musician Darcy did this morning, as a source of creativity, as a source of fertility, as a source of growth. If you take a seed or a plant and you put it in the dirt, you put it in the dark, right? It grows, it becomes beautiful. When we look at the process of birth, we look at the fact that this embryo has been in the darkness as its home, has been very comfortable. It's felt the velvety warmth of life and is comforted by its mother's heartbeat and gets its nutrition from its mom through its umbilical cord. It's content to grow and grow and grow until it becomes too crowded, and then Mother Nature propels it out, ready for birth. What if we thought of darkness as like that? That we are, when we find ourselves facing darkness, we have the opportunity to see it as a creative and fertile womb space. And we can use our spiritual insight to flip the paradigm and more easily unlearn the fear of dark. Now, since our births, Much has come into our minds through experiences that generate fear, like, we probably know most of them. Fear of not being chosen, the fear of not being enough, the fear of attracting bad things in our lives, or even the fear of being separated from our belief and our knowledge in the Spirit of God. Often these fears have arisen before we could handle them, so we just stuff them in our let's forget it file, and we just stuff them back in our minds where we don't think of them. They're just too scary. In times, our excess baggage of negative thoughts and beliefs have accumulated. Think of it as dragging a sack behind us, weighing down unresolved concerns. If we want to release ourselves from this psychic baggage, we are challenged to unpack the things we have stuffed into our shadow self. We are to pull them out and bring them into the light, where the goodness within can be revealed and flourish through the power of healing love. Let's talk just a moment about science of mind principles. Our thoughts shape our reality. What we focus on manifests, and what we resist persists and may even grow. We also know from science of mind principles that the laws of the universe work equally, regardless of who uses them. We have to use them wisely and carefully. Fire can heat or it can burn. Gravity can hold or cause things to fall and crash. Electricity can provide light or electrocute. If our subconscious mind, if the dark areas of our mind are filled with negativity about the dark, we're bound to manifest negativity in our experience. It's up to us to gain awareness of these inner dynamics before unseen thoughts can sabotage our good. Ernest Holmes once again said, "Change your thinking, change your life." This is a practice that can be embraced to unlearn our fear of the dark shadows that we drag behind us. Discovering what's in the shadow and addressing it can show us the way home when we're lost in confusion and pain. Has anyone read the current issue of the Science of Mind magazine? Did you happen to notice an article that was written by Steph Swink? It was on page 90, and it was entitled Possibility and Power of Healing. Anybody notice that one? Yeah, at least one person. Well, let's just talk a little bit, something about that. It's kind of a deep thing, and may touch a nerve, because I know all of us, most likely all of us here, experience wonderful mothering in our lives. But there are times when that doesn't happen, when the mothering isn't perfect, and when it brings about pain in the youngster. And that's kind of the setting for this story. Steph Swink interviewed Claudia Choatson, author of a book called The Dark Room, a memoir of triumph. Now, Claudia and her mother escaped the Holocaust in Germany because her father sent them ahead, and he finally joined them in 1937 at age 27. This was before the first ghetto was formed in Poland. It was before the Jews were forced into the death camps before the Holocaust. Though she and her mother had survived, and they did so wonderfully well in our country, they lost over 40 members of their family, aunts and uncles and cousins and people they'd grown up with. Yet Claudia and her family, carried a deep wound for many years, and that wound was in addition to the loss of family. Claudia labels this wound the last taboo. And I'm quoting now from that article. "As an adult, I, Claudia, learned that my mother was molested by her father when she was a child. She never got any professional help to heal. She continued that cycle of abuse with me when I was a child. There wasn't a cultural awareness in the 1950s and 60s that sexual abuse was happening in nice, educated families. No doctor or teacher recognized the signs of disassociation and abuse when I told them, 'I'm not in my body.' Most cultures," Claudia says, "place mothers on pedestals, and they should be. Being a mother requires the most powerful kind of love imaginable. But sometimes that love gets twisted." Claudia goes on to note that in a culture where we can recognize this, help can be provided both to the mother and to the child. She goes on to say, she did not want the story of this problem, to be the narrative that would dominate her life. When she became a mother, she was determined to protect her children and stop the cycle of abuse. And she did. Yet, there was still an internal struggle, something that she had to work out. For years, Claudia struggled between the desire to share her story to address the issue and her loyalty to her family. Growing up in the shadow of the Holocaust, she was taught the importance of family and protecting family and preserving family. Well, it seems that about 40 years ago, she was introduced to the science of mind, and she now claims it as her spiritual foundation. She works with practitioners doing prayer work and lives the science of mind daily. One of the issues that faced her was to reconcile the science of mind teaching of focusing on what we want, not on what we don't want, and bring that to bear with her desire to confront her need to turn toward the dark trauma with support in order to transform it. And quoting her, "Now I understand more fully that this philosophy is really about freedom, the freedom to claim and live the truest essence of ourselves, no matter what we have been through. So ultimately, I took this risk of writing this book for freedom." It's a heavy wound, but she reports now that a weight has been lifted. The journey of nearly 20 years has opened up loving communications, a recognition of her family's shared history, and a powerful bond with her siblings. She was so afraid making this public would tear their family apart. It did not. Her readers have asked her to speak with them. She's been able to bring people with similar trauma hope and help them provide the support they needed to face their traumas. So what is the state of her mind now, after all the healing work is done, after all of the darkness of that shadow has been brought into the light, has been brought into consciousness, has been brought into healing? What is her state of mind? She says simply, "I am happy. I'm happy." You see, our internal struggles may not be as severe as Claudia's. I thank God that they aren't. That's a pretty dramatic stuff there. But containing our shadows consumes a great amount of personal energy. So what would it be like if we unlearn our fear of the darkness of the shadow and find the light within them? I think we'll be able to say, as Claudia has, as a result of this healing work, "I'm happy." As we move to the conclusion of our talk, let's remember the same basic principles apply to everyone. We are one. All parts of ourselves are worthy of respect, light and dark. We will reach a more perfect realization of our spiritual wholeness when we embrace the darker elements of our subconscious and bring them into the light. You see, we are powerful spiritual human beings. That power resides in our humanness and in our interior divinity. It is light, it is love, and it's goodness that live within us. Having brought this goodness to light, we'll be able to respond more positively with more energy, more life, more love to our own feelings. We'll be able to stop projecting unresolved fears onto others, and we'll live more fully in the light of love. As Shannon did in her wonderful introduction this morning, mother love itself is so precious, and it's such a great gift. And it's whether we can see it at the moment or not, it's always there. It's part of being fully alive. You see, our relationships will be more peaceful, and we will experience less stress. We'll be focused on our mission as light bearers. Any darkness we experience will fade, and we will be the flame of divine love. And that flame will cast a shadow of goodness in all we think, all we say, and all we do. I'd like to ask you to repeat some affirmations after me. There is only one life, one source, one spirit, one love. I am that life. I am that love. And so it is. This is our message for the morning. Namaste.
I am grateful for all the people that have helped me find my spot, because often they don't get any credit. And in this case, mothers, people who have mothered me, whatever. All of those people have done beautiful things, and I give them their properties this morning. Wind beneath my wings, Brent. Brent, wind beneath my wings. Wind beneath my wings. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. Well, I was the one with all the glory. Well, you were the one who showed such strength. Only a face without a name. Oh, but I never once heard you complain. Oh, did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I could want to be. And I can fly higher than an eagle with you as the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Oh, I would not be possible without you. Oh, did you ever know that you're my hero? And you're everything I could ever be. Oh, and I fly higher than an eagle with you as a wind beneath my wings. Oh, did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything, everything I could ever be. Oh, and I fly higher than an eagle with you as the wind beneath my wings. With you as the wind beneath my wings.
Thank you, Darcy. Thank you, Brad. We fly with the speed and the light, even brighter than the eagle. It's wonderful. Thank you. The wind beneath our wings. We all carry the ability to soar, the ability to be that which we most truly are in our hearts. And as we share during our time of offering, we allow ourselves to give into that spirit, to contribute to that spirit of upliftment, of being above the fray, if you will, above the worry and the trials of life. We just support one another in love. And so take the gift you have in mind, put it in your hand if you like, and let's repeat our affirmation under the word offering. divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
All right. I know you know this song, but you don't know the verses because I changed them. I do that. But it starts like this. Brent? I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness. No more light. Now I'm so happy. No sorrow inside. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. I wandered so aimless, empty within. I wouldn't let enlightenment in. Then came the word, and it brought me new light. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. Stand up. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness. No more light. Now I'm so happy. Never inside. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. I wandered so aimlessly, I couldn't win. I couldn't see the Christ light within. Then Spirit came like an angel in the night, and what? Praise the Lord! I saw the light. 1, 2, 3, 4. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness. No more light. Now I'm so happy. So inside. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. Yeah, Red. Woo. Yeah. Amen.
Oh, let us say a prayer. Together we know that we accept the gift of life, the gift of love, the gift of joy that's just been expressed so beautifully. And we're just so happy with it. We're grateful for our mothers. We're grateful for life itself. We're grateful just to be here and be with one another. With that then, let us proclaim this truth and say, and so it is. All right, as long as we're standing, let's go ahead and say our prayer of protection. Most of you know it by heart. It is in the program. It's in the program. All ready? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. You might like to form a circle and sing our closing song. Let there be peace on earth.